Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is your host kushalmehra. So we are back to discussing regular politics again. And today's, although the title is that the Karnataka Congress is in Disarray, that is the main thing that we're going to start with because that's been in the news for the last few days or so. So we want to talk about it, but we will be discussing other items. So I'm already stating it. We're going to talk about some of the news in Delhi, about the new policy about the vehicles. Also, we're also going to talk about this bizarre news that is going around, and where some of the YouTube channels of Pakistan that were banned for 2 months have suddenly been unbanned. Some of them, some are not. And I will give everyone an explanation of what is happening because I've been on the phone since morning talking to multiple people, trying to understand what has happened, and I can try to make sense of whatever I have. But and obviously there is also this news of India playing Pakistan in the Asia Cup in Dubai. All of that is going to be discussed today. And as always, I have Tushar with me. भाई क्या हाल है? First of all, भाई तेरे क्या हाल है? तेरा हाथ का क्या हाल है? क्या हाल है? तेरी गाड़ी फोड़ दी, तुझे फोड़ दिया, क्या क्या हो रहा है तेरे साथ ही सब?
Bhai, I have been a victim of a road rage incident just recently. I tweeted about it, but turned out to be some unemployed fucker. And the only thing was that he had a brick in his hand. He started smashing around windows. I was lucky, got away with a few injuries. कोई कांच ज़्यादा बुरी तरह लगा नहीं. Could have been much worse, but I was lucky. Gods were kind. So yeah, that's it. Just Delhi things. तो
तो
ये हो रहा
मतलब
है.
पुलिस क्या कर रही है? How much has the the case, you have filed an
No,
FIR? क्या किया है?
the cops actually solved it in 36 hours. And they took 36 hours because they had to run around 5 or 7 permutations of the number that was visible in the CCTV. So because the vehicle they could recognize, but the number they couldn't clearly. So they had to run a few permutations and they did. And they nabbed him, and the poor guy was already confessing his crime once the footage was revealed to him. But वही है यार, I mean, it turns out a lot of these people come from some infamous pockets in Delhi. Even the police knows about them, and they sort of think they can get away with it. But in my case, I think the police was also cooperative, seeing that, okay, I can, you know, talk about it and pull a few strings if it goes nowhere. So that is what
Yeah,
they
but that's
probably.
the bit, right? तुषार, यही तो प्रॉब्लम है.
भाई प्रॉब्लम ये है, पुलिस कहती है हमारे पास हर रोज केस आते हैं रोड रेज के, ठीक है, दिल्ली में. अभी आई हर्ड अबाउट समवन एल्सेस ग्लास बीइंग स्मैश्ड दिस मॉर्निंग, एंड a lot of local people, they like move on with it. They're like, ठीक है, कांच है, करोल बाग जाके लगवा लेंगे. मेरे लिए it was quite shocking because the city I come from, it's very disciplined. I come from Chandigarh, and while वहां पर गाड़ी पे अगर एक स्क्रैच भी लग जाए, हाथापाई हो जाती है, इतना पागल कोई नहीं होता. Even the locals I spoke to, my in-laws come from Delhi, all of them told me that we have seen road rage, but not to this extent. That man was in a different rage of his own. Probably he was trying to go for my head. The car came in between. That's how it really went. And a lot of well-fishers on Twitter wrote that probably it was a political attack. It wasn't. I mean, that guy was too foolish to be even hired by Aam Aadmi Party, to give you an example. वो इतना फालतू आदमी था. तो प्रॉब्लम यही होती है. उसने पुलिस से भी जब उससे पूछा भाई तेरी दिक्कत क्या थी, उसने कहा मुझे पता ही नहीं व्हाट हैपेंड टू मी. प्रॉब्ली बॉर्डरलाइन साइकोटिक फॉर ऑल वी नो.
मेंटल इलनेस.
हाँ, the only thing I did not do was step out of the car. Probably I should have, I don't know, it would have been risking an injury, but the way the law works in India, and this is, just a note of caution, the law is designed in such a way that it rewards restraint more than action. That is what I learned in this entire process. Had I also hit back, I had also probably pulled out a slugger and smashed his face, it could have got way more complicated for me legally. But because I was restrained, because I was immediately calling the emergency numbers, and because the cops arrived at the scene, the evidence was there, everything was there, it was pretty easy for my case to be sort of validated when I went before the cops. And then further on, abhi court ki hearing aayegi, sab kuch hoga, and then charges will be pressed and so forth.
So, see, the problem, see, this is something that I've always told my friends and young fans whenever I meet them. Road rage is not worth picking up a fight is not worth it, because always remember, the person picking up a fight with you has nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You have a lot of things to lose. So it's not about machismo. It is about common sense. You should never pick up a fight in these things because you don't know uh, that person on the other end. So मैं तेरे को बताता हूँ मेरे साथ क्या हुआ था. एक बार मैं मेरे घर के बाहर पास में कैफे जा रहा था and I was just driving in my lane and suddenly this biker comes and मेरे आगे आता है. तूने मेरे को कट मारा. मैंने बोला कट मारा. मैं तो अभी इधर से पार्किंग से बाहर आया. He was drunk clearly.
Yeah.
मैं तेरा मुंह फोड़ दूंगा, ये कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा. Now I could have confronted him and that would have led into a fist fight, even assuming I would have beaten him physically. I just think it was not worth it because it would have been a waste of my time. What if he was carrying a weapon? He was clearly drunk. And then he just, तुम जैसे लोगों की वजह से मेरी जिंदगी खराब है. He said that to me. I was like, ये तो पागल है. And then
this guy also,
I just said sorry.
when he...
In fact, मेरी कोई fault नहीं थी. मैंने उसको फिर भी sorry बोला और मैं निकल गया.
नहीं, ये वाला कार्टून ये बोलता है पुलिस स्टेशन जाके, अरे मैं 7 महीने से अनएम्प्लॉयड हूँ, मेरे 1 साल का बच्चा है, उसको मेरे को खिलाने को कुछ नहीं है. ऐसे लगता तो भाई कांच क्यों तोड़े, कांच थोड़ी खिलाएगा. ठीक है. But again, the problem is these people are without functioning brains, without any gray matter. They have been unleashed on the roads. Thankfully, the licensing system in India is such that anyone who can just barely hold a vehicle can get a driving license. But yeah, the law, and the moment this happened, the first calculation I had in my head was, let's say I slap him. What if the SC/ST Act he can go for? वो भी एक लिमिटेशन है. सोचना पड़ता है, बहुत लॉस के बारे में सोचना पड़ता है, क्योंकि है the law is designed in such a way, firstly it has to penalize the guy with the car, not with the two-wheeler. Secondly, it will penalize the guy with the money, not without money, because that guy is poor. वो तो कभी गलत हो नहीं सकता. ये notions, हाँ, ये जब आप ऐसे encounters में पढ़ते हो ना, तो कुछ एक जो notions इतनी embedded है हमारे पूरे system में, वो सामने आती है. फिर तीसरी चीज ये होती है, what if he's an SC/ST act, what if he comes from a certain community and he makes it a caste issue, and before you know, no one cares about what happened to you, it's all about how he feels. So a lot of calculations go on and on and on in your head in those first few couple of minutes, and then reality hits that okay, this is what has happened and that is how you need to go about it.
चलो ठीक है. So now let's talk about this whole Congress thingy. So क्या हो रहा है भाई कांग्रेस में, मतलब सिद्धारमैया वर्सेस शिवकुमार, क्या चालू है, क्या हो रहा है? ये तूने क्या कर दिया है कांग्रेस को झगड़ा कराने में?
कांग्रेस में वही हो रहा है जो कांग्रेस की पहले पंजाब में कहानी थी, फिर हिमाचल में दिखी, फिर राजस्थान में भी कभी दिखी हुई है, मध्य प्रदेश में दिखी हुई है, छत्तीसगढ़ में दिखी हुई है, कर्नाटका में दिख रहा है. इट्स द सेम स्टोरी. द पार्टी हाई कमांड nominate someone to run the state. They nominate someone who they can control from 10 Janpat clearly, and the cadre in the state wants someone else. Now, in some cases, the rebellion is strong enough to dislodge the CM or to shift party, which was the case in Madhya Pradesh, which was almost the case in Himachal Pradesh. But in most cases, as of now, luckily for the Congress, वो रिबेलियन इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं हुआ है कि दे कैन एक्चुअली गेट द सीएम चेंज्ड. बिकॉज ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, कांग्रेस के लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी चीज ये होती है कि भैया 10 जनपद का वर्चस्व बना रहे. द गांधी फैमिली इज द फर्स्ट फैमिली. खड़गे खुद पार्टी प्रेसिडेंट है, उसके स्टेट में सारी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है और वो कह रहा है भैया पार्टी हाईकमांड डिसाइड करेगी. पंजाब में क्या हुआ, व्हेन सिद्धू एंड अमरिंदर सिंह वर एट लॉगर हेड्स, द हाईकमांड चोज चरणजीत सिंह चन्नी. When Sindhya and Kamal Nath happened, Rahul Gandhi posted that photo with the quote of Leo Tolstoy. Kuch nahi hua, Sindhya walked out. But because we were just a week away from the pandemic, nothing really happened. It just went away. Rajasthan, the problem was Sachin Pilot did not have enough MLA strength to really upseat Ashok Gehlot. In Karnataka also, DK Shivakumar. Now the problem with DK Shivakumar is he's made a lot of noise. 2.5 years of the Karnataka government will be done by this year's end. If he cannot dislodge Siddaramaiah in the next 6 months, then he can never do that. Because आपने इतना शोर मचा दिया है, इतना होप जगा दिया है, पर आप कुछ कर नहीं पा रहे हो, तो एक क्वेश्चन और भी आता है, that do you actually have the strength? Can you really take on Siddaramaiah with the current political capital you may have? That with DK Shivakumar, people say he has 100 MLAs, but where are those 100 MLAs? They don't seem to be visible. एक और problem जो हो रही है, why I think a lot of MLAs are wanting DK Shivakumar also, is that one, that stampede that happened in Chinnaswamy. I think that was just a tipping point of sorts, that yes, you need a change, and there is already strong anti-incumbency building in, because because of all the khat model failing. The MLAs are now complaining. Often this is like a news that comes up every second or third day, that there are no funds for development. Problem ye hai, these same MLAs have to go back and fight elections in 2028 May. What will they tell the constituents? That it's all squandered away in freebies. Then that gives BJP a chance. Not that BJP Karnataka is in a great shape, but even then, one assumes that BJP might get its act together and be a challenger to the Congress in the run up to 2028, and the state is again lost by the Congress. That is what DK Shivakumar will also worry about, because he's 63. By the time 2028 comes, he'll be what, 65? By the time he actually has a hope of looking at Karnataka again, he'll be in his early 70s and probably not in the best of the health. So he's also looking at his political future. But again, DK Shivakumar, like Sachin Pilot, has made a lot of noise, but he's unable to accomplish anything. If he can, he has 6 months. But beyond that, it will become really difficult.
Yeah, I think in this case, it is not going to be a case of DK Shivakumar trying to join the BJP. I think it's going to be a case of Siddaramaiah. Anyways, I think is in his last term. He is going to retire. So why would see, what I don't understand is, why would DK Shivakumar try to play his cards now? It makes no sense. He anyways is going to take over the party. Siddaramaiah is going to retire anyway.
I think the deal in the beginning also, when the government was formed in 2023, I think the deal was that it will be a 2.5 year arrangement versus a 2.5 year arrangement. I remember that day I was in the NDTV studios, and that was the conversation. Is DK Shivakumar going to be the same? Because the kind of majority Congress got, no one actually expected that kind of a tally. And Congress got that majority, and everyone had this question that this is an election that DK Shivakumar has won for the Congress, and the Congress was, remember, looking at a very low point because they had just lost Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh 6 months ago. They had lost Gujarat, pardon me. Himachal, they had won narrow. So Congress was also at a low point, and things were not looking great for them in the run-up to 24. This was a big boost to their prospects, which made them confident about Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh in the following state assembly election. So even that time, the conversation was this, that maybe Siddaramaiah will be given that respect, 2.5 years, and then midway you'll have a change of guard, so that that anti-incumbency is also taken care of, which whatever it builds in Karnataka, it builds really fast. But it hasn't really happened. Even in the Lok Sabha election of 2024, BJP wasn't expected to do that well in Karnataka, believe it or not. People were worried that BJP's tally might come down to single digits in Karnataka at some point. But they did well. They did decently well compared to, say, Rajasthan or Haryana. So I think somewhere even DK Shivakumar is playing his cards strongly, that look, he did not deliver you in the Lok Sabha, the Khatakhat model is falling apart, there is a law and order problem, the whole Chinnaswamy stampede has not really gave them good PR. So what really happens now? Abhi monsoons hai, there will be more bad press because Bengaluru rains are really harsh. So yeah, it's just the next 6 months. If DK Shivakumar can pull off some political miracle, it's the window he has now. That's it.
I think it in the long run, I don't understand why DK Shivakumar would even try this. I think it's an unnecessary stunt.
No, I think he's been promised that. Kushal, I don't think he would try it unnecessarily. Look, DK Shivakumar was in Himachal when the Himachal crisis was unfolding. He is not just, I mean, to give it a context, his stature within the party is much higher than, say, Navjot Singh Siddhu was, or Sachin Pilot had, or even Sindhya had for that matter, when they all were in the rebellion phase. DK Shivakumar is the go-to person for the Gandhis. But I think internally he was promised something, and he is now wanting that, which he's not being given. I think that is where the conflict is.
So do you think he's only leaking the news of this rift, and he's trying to negotiate via these leaks to the media?
I tell you, yesterday he was in a press conference with Surjewala, and aise baitha tha wo, like a kid who's completely lost out, zoned out within a class. So we don't know what was promised to DK Shivakumar, but again, We also do not know how much political capital DK Shivakumar has to squander. You don't want to end up in a position like Navjot Singh Siddhu or a Sachin Pilot. That's very embarrassing. Either you be a Scindia, that I have chosen my own way. Scindia also did not have enough MLAs to really push out Kamal Nath, but then Kamal Nath had a very, very slim majority, which made it possible for Scindia to do what he wanted to do. But even then, he made it to the center. He did not become the state chief minister. Pilot made a lot of noise. Now look at Pilot. Gehlot completed his 5 years, na? क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं हुआ. Navjot Singh Siddhu ने इतना शोर मचाया. Channi became the chief minister. कुछ नहीं हुआ. He lost, fair enough. But Channi is back being an MP. Where is Navjot Singh Siddhu?
Navjot Singh Siddhu is busy doing press conferences announcing the launch of his YouTube channel. Like, why was there a press conference that I am launching a YouTube channel? Can somebody explain that to me? There was a proper press conference from Navjot Singh Siddhu. When I saw that, I was like, भाई अभी YouTube channel की announcement की भी press conference होती है और press आती है. इंडिया की press कितनी वेली है?
Punjab की press तो थोड़ी वेली है. Plus he has this wonderful bungalow in Amritsar. I think a lot of people like visiting. So who knows? ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत क्लाउड तो इन लीडर्स का है, बट वही है, कैन यू गो टू द ग्राउंड एंड गेट दोस वोट्स? DK Shivakumar can.
DK Shivakumar is an actual proper mass leader. That I will give him credit where is due. Navjot Singh Siddhu, I don't know if he's as popular as he used to be in Punjab. I think उसकी प्रॉब्लम ये रही है ना कि he's never been consistent. वो इधर से उधर से इधर, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह इतना गया है ना कि आई थिंक वो जनता को लगता है कि भाई तू किसकी साइड है, तू तो हर जगह गेड़ी मार के आ गया है. बीजेपी, कांग्रेस, इधर उधर, मतलब I think.
But it's the same, look at the larger picture. ना चलो कर्नाटका specific issues तो एक चीज है, but it's the same story state after state for the Congress. Somehow what their state unit wants and what 10 Janpat wants are two different things. Somewhere the high command is now starting to lose control. They were not very fond of Revanth Reddy either. Early on the rumors were that maybe Revanth Reddy won't be made the chief minister, but then 10 Janpat folks had to budge. तो कहीं ना कहीं अब ये जो एक कोहेसिव फोर्स थी ना कि गांधीज आर गोइंग टू टेक द पार्टी टुगेदर, द गांधीज देमसेल्व्स आर नाउ बिकमिंग अ लायबिलिटी. अभी अगला चैलेंज पता क्या होगा? बिहार में सीट शेयरिंग अरेंजमेंट आरजेडी के साथ. दोनों 240 सीटों पे तो लड़ेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि फिर तो आपको मुस्लिम वोट डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा, वो आप कर नहीं सकते. यादव वोट तो लॉक स्टॉक बैरल आरजेडी के पास जाएगा, मुस्लिम वोट लॉक स्टॉक बैरल आरजेडी के पास जाएगा. सो दे आर अश्योर्ड ऑफ अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग वोट शेयर टू बिगिन विद. Now, how much of seats are they willing to give to the Congress, who in 2020 turned out to be a liability because they gave them far more seats than they deserved? They lost far more, the Congress that has lost far more than RJD had calculated, and eventually NDA was able to push them out. They were able to get what they wanted. So that is where the problem. उसके बाद नीतीश ने फिर कुछ किया, फिर उसने दोबारा कुछ किया, वो सब बात की बात है. बट जब एक हार्डकोर इलेक्शन था, कांग्रेस वाज अ लायबिलिटी फॉर द आरजेडी. तो अभी क्या होगा? दिल्ली का इलेक्शन हो चुका है, हरियाणा महाराष्ट्र का हो चुका है. तेजस्वी यादव, व्हेन ही कम्स टू द नेगोशिएटिंग टेबल विद कन्हैया कुमार एंड राहुल गांधी, ही विल बी सेइंग हाउ मच डू आई गिव यू? 50 seats, 70 seats? How much? Because the RJD would also want to get as close to complete majority as they can. So would the BJP. बट वही अभी कांग्रेस का यही बहुत कुछ साफ हो जाएगा. फिर अगले साल वेस्ट बंगाल में इलेक्शन होगा, फिर वही चैलेंज आएगा. तो कहीं ना कहीं अब गांधीज का जो एक चलता था ना सिक्का, अब वो नहीं चलता. बिकॉज राहुल गांधी, फॉर ऑल द नॉइज ही मेक्स, फॉर ऑल हिज IT सेल पोएट्री, इट्स नॉट वर्किंग. बिहार में अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि आप जाके बोलोगे कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर फेल था, नरेंद्र सरेंडर हो गया, ये जो इनका IT सेल चलाता है, बिहार इज गोइंग टू रिजेक्ट यू. They might vote on caste, but they are not people who are not patriotic, right? They might vote on very frivolous, primitive, regressive issues for all I care, but they are not going to vote on such narratives. And that is where Gandhis are losing the plot. And I'm sort of eagerly waiting for those, episodes to now start coming out when RJD and Congress have a ticket distribution challenge. And somewhere OAC will also try his luck. तो कहीं ना कांग्रेस की प्रॉब्लम यही हो गई है that the credibility that Gandhis used to once offer, say between 2000 and early 2010s until 2014. That is gone. That is pretty much gone. Rahul Gandhi is a laughing stock as far as the regional parties are concerned. And you and I have discussed on regional parties. They don't want national parties to eat into their conventional vote share. आज आरजेडी को पता है कि उसको स्टार्ट करना है, तो उसको स्टार्ट करना है मुस्लिम यादव वोट बैंक से। समाजवादी की भी वही कहानी है। अब वो अगर उसी को बांटना शुरू कर देंगे तो फिर जाएंगे कहां? फिर तो देर एनीवे स्टार्टिंग ऑन द बैक फुट, एंड दैट्स व्हाट दे डू नॉट वांट.
All right, now I want to talk about one news from Maharashtra. It's just ridiculous. So NDTV had reported this. I'm just sharing the tweet here. NDTV Mumbai: workers of Maharashtra Navnirman Sena allegedly assaulted a restaurant owner on Mira Road for not speaking in Marathi. I'm not playing this. The best is the community note in this. The term allegedly is inaccurate here, as the video shows the assault taking place. यार ये कोई कम्युनिटी नोट होता है? अरे यार, people don't understand legalities and all of that. These things have to be done. But I loved the community note. Allegedly क्यों बोला? उसमें भी किसी ने ऑफेंस ले लिया. Allegedly बोला तूने, how dare you? बट यार ये है ना, ये हर टाइम जब बीएमसी या कुछ होता है ना महाराष्ट्र में, बीएमसी की खबर आएगी या कुछ होएगा तो ये शुरू हो जाता है. This has been a problem of Indian politics, whether it's this, language struggle. And this is coming from a guy who actually has a lot of sympathy for regional culture and regional language pride. Like, I have always said that I took Marathi even aage once my education was at a stage where I could have avoided Marathi language, because I have a lot of pride in me about my state language. But this is not the right way. Like, why are you smacking businessmen? Yeah, like, we don't want to send this message. We want to be an economic superpower. Like, what are we sending? Like, seriously, I don't understand our country.
One, this is another confirmation of how limited Raj Thakre's political capital is. अगर तुम्हें अपना पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल ऐसी हरकतें करके दिखाना है तो भैया तुम्हारे पास पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल नहीं है. दूसरी चीज, I have a very different take on this entire language debate. I studied in Chandigarh. I had a 3-language thing. I studied Punjabi also. I can read and write in Punjabi. पर मेरा लाइफ में उसका कोई यूटिलिटी नहीं है. Fine, I understand the language. I can brag about it probably at once in 10 years. That's about it. I think now we have to take a hard call as to how relevant languages are within the teaching framework in our schools. आज बच्चे AI की हेल्प से ट्रांसलेशन नैनो सेकेंड्स में कर सकते हैं. वो कोई चैलेंज नहीं है. दुनिया की कोई भी भाषा हो, एक्सपायर्ड हो, एक्सटिंक्ट हो, सॉरी, या नहीं हो, they can use AI and they can go about whatever they want. My problem is we are not focusing on the real deal in schools. Let students choose whatever they want to learn. मैं कह रहा हूँ सिंपल चीज करो. बच्चों को बोलो तुम 3 अखबार चूज करो जो तुम्हें पढ़ने हैं, ऑनलाइन पढ़ लो, चाहे 3 या 6 नॉवेल्स चूज करो साल की, जिस भी भाषा में तुम्हें पढ़नी है. साल के एंड में एक एस्से लिख दो तमीज का, जो टीचर्स एआई के थ्रू वेट कर लें एंड दे ग्रेड देम. The main subjects we need to restrict to math, science, economy, business management, technology. That's it. बच्चे सीख जाएंगे भाषाएं खुद यार. पूरी सोशल मीडिया उनके पास एक्सेसिबल है. दे आर ऑन IIMs as within kindergarten classes. Let them learn the languages on their own. Let them learn it through newspapers, through the movies they watch, through the OTT stuff they consume, through the novels they're going to read. You don't tell the kids what language they need to learn. Why should a Marathi kid be subjected to only the 3 languages that the state decides for? Why should a kid in Assam be subjected to only the languages the state government deems fit? Why? Why can't we democratize the learning of languages? Because वैसे तो 24 घंटे हम डाइवर्स हैं, we are a land of so many languages, this, that, blah, blah, blah. पॉलिटिकली हम आते हैं, बच्चों पे हम वही चीज थोप देते हैं. तो कहीं ना कहीं गलत तो हम भी कर रहे हैं ना. और आज साधन सब है. एजुकेशन इतनी डेमोक्रेटाइज हो चुकी है. यू पुट AI into use. Schools are already using it. सबके phones पे इतने basic AI programs आ गए. You want to vet something, just put an essay through an AI program. The teacher or whoever is the guardian can translate the essay in a language they understand and just try to understand what the kid is saying. The important thing here is not that the kid learns a language that the state dictates. The important thing here is that the kid learns a language which he can understand well, use it well when he grows up into a professional life. That's about it.
I think it's just tribalism, and this is the worst kind of tribalism, and it shows its ugly face in different areas at different times. Um, Culture is a very important part of any person's life. I think culture is something that is evolutionarily very important, and I don't take these things lightly. I never have, I never will. But there is a way of selling your culture. Maharashtra Navnirman Sena slapping someone is not going to sell Marathi culture. Maharashtra Navnirman Sena is never going to get anything that way. Marathi culture is amazing. Marathi movies are amazing for kids like us. We watched watch Nata Samrat and me Shivaji Raje Bhosle Bolte Hue, and watch it in Marathi. And if you don't understand Marathi, you can put the subtitles of Hindi or English or your language wherever you're from
Hmm.
on. You should watch these movies. Marathi art, Marathi Pula Deshpande, and a lot of these people, they are amazing. In fact, I have done a Marathi literature podcast with a friend of mine in this very podcast. That's the right way of promoting your culture, not slapping a Gujarati businessman. That's not the right way of doing anything in life. There is just no defense of it. Even if the businessman is a jackass, there is no defense of it. This is next level moral policing, and this is what turns people away. And believe me, Maharashtra Navnirman Sena will never become a serious political force in their life. Balasaheb Thackeray realized these things, and he moved ahead and moved on from all of this. Shiv Sena had to move on from all of this. Now they moved on a little too much eventually, and they became secular. But you have to respect Balasaheb Thackeray. Whatever his progeny has done, Balasaheb Thackeray remains a hero for a lot of us. He remains a hero. That will never change. For me, in my life, it's never going to change. I might have disagreements with Balasaheb Thackeray in many ways, but for me, he remains a pivotal figure, especially for us children in Mumbai, growing up in the 80s, 90s. For us, he remains a pivotal figure. And to see all these kinds of things, and we are what, in the next 10 years we are going to be a 10 trillion economy. Boss, you
Hmm.
want investments to come to India. You are living in the age of social media where your opponents use these very things to show you in a bad light. You are going to be shown in a bad light by your opponents. And you have to be rather naive to think that these, in the age of artificial intelligence, where language models um, and translations and transliterations are done so fast, that we are actually obsessed about something like this. I speak multiple languages. I understand even more languages because I love languages. I'm a language connoisseur. I love poetry and stuff like that. For me, it's an integral part of my life. What next? Somebody doesn't like it. Like, imagine that horrifying news that had happened in Punjab. I wanted to talk about that also. As as the state both you and I follow, that those people who are allegedly calling themselves Nihang just go and murder a content creator. Now, this is not a defense of what the content creator was creating, but baba kisi ko maar daloge iske liye. What is this? Like, are we creating Taliban in Punjab now? What is this? And they
If
have
you
threatened two more creators.
if you are going to sort of murder people who release content with sexual overtones, then the list is never going to end. Either you go on a mission and say, I'm going to slaughter every single one of them, which you can't because you're a coward. So you pick up the easiest victim and you do what you did. In this case, the woman named Kanchan Kumar. She was known as Komal Bhabi or whatever her Instagram name is. She had around 4 lakh followers. Now, one of her reels actually went quite viral, which is how she became famous. I think it got around 28, 30 million views. It was even featured in a couple of news articles. The problem was the Nehang giving the justification was that probably she was spoiling the culture of Punjab. She was creating a lot of vulgar content that you couldn't watch with families, and therefore a lesson was warranted. Now, this is where the problem is. No state, no religious body has the right to moral police. एंड बाद में ये बातें करना गलत है. इसको थ्रेट लास्ट ईयर से आ रहा था. When the news broke in mainstream media that an influencer has been found dead in Punjab, I texted one of my friends at a mainstream news channel. I said, look, she got a threat last year because of the content she was creating, of the very reel that went viral. She got a threat. Probably this has some link to it. At that time, it wasn't confirmed. The mainstream media also did not pick up because it's just one content creator, and probably, oh, her content is a certain way, so probably, let's just ignore and ye wo. But then one of the heads of a religious body, instead of condemning that murder, actually supported that. And that is when the mainstream media suddenly woke up. अरे अरे ये क्या हो रहा है? But problem ये है, अगर आप पंजाब में ऐसी चीजें encourage करोगे, and Punjab has a history where artists have been under the, they've been under scanner by such bodies. You remember that singer चमकीला, उस पर अभी पिक्चर भी बनाई थी दिलजीत दोसांझ ने, और दिलजीत दोसांझ खुद एक आर्टिस्ट है. So you can't have this. Punjab can't work this way. आज आपको किसी का संगीत बुरा लग रहा है, कल को आपको किसी का कंटेंट बुरा लग रहा है, कल को मेरे और कुशल के ओपिनियन बुरे लग जाएंगे. तो क्या, can we be marked for murder? It's a simple question, something Kushal and I will worry about, that you did not like the content she was creating, which wasn't for you. She wasn't directing anything to you. She wasn't, mentioning you or linking herself to you. She was just making something she understood as comedy, which we may classify as 18 plus comedy. You found it offensive. You decided to take the law into your own hands. You did not register a complaint anywhere. So tomorrow or 10 years down the lane, you'll say, oh, these two boys who every time come up on a podcast and speak about Punjab and try to sound worried about Punjab, create this hysteria about the economic situation of Punjab. Oh, I'm offended by this. Let me go and murder them. Is this the new future? Shamefully, the Aam Aadmi Party has not been very vocal on this issue as well. Why not?
Forget that. Did you see that that artist and many other artists? Like, I want to appreciate Mika Singh. Mika Singh ने तो बहुत अच्छा पंजाबी में वीडियो बनाया criticizing this. But did you see that? वो कौन था? वो शायद दिल लगी कुड़ी गुजरात दी, वो गाने जिसने गाया था. जस्सी, हाँ जस्सी. That guy is justifying. Think, what is he trying to justify? उसका ट्विटर देखा था तूने?
हाँ. See, वही बात आ जाती है ना. How can an artist go against an artist? We don't decide who an artist is. कुछ लोग कहते हैं, oh, this is the real artist, that is the real artist. But boss, I don't care. Let the market decide. If she has 4 lakh followers, there are 4 lakh people who believe she's an artist. It's that simple. And even if her content is vulgar, it's pathetic, report to the police. यार वही चीज आ जाती है. मेरे साथ रोड रेज हुआ, पुलिस वाले ने उसको बोला, कहता तेरे को उसका ओवरटेक करना बुरा लग गया था, तेरे को कोई बात बुरी लग रही थी, तेरे को किसने कहा मजिस्ट्रेट बनने को, तेरे को किसने कहा जज बनने को. ये जो माइंडसेट हम इंकरेज कर देते हैं ना कई बार पॉलिटिकल उसमें आके. अभी यूपी में भी यही हो रहा था. भीम आर्मी के कुछ लोग चढ़ गए पुलिस की वैन पे, तोड़फोड़ करने लग गए. अभी सब पे एनएसए लगा दिया, और लगना चाहिए. But look at the cowardness.
Yeah,
the person
it is a
who,
problem.
The person who sponsored this murder, he makes a video and then runs off to UAE and probably from there to some other country. We don't know where. या तो तुम कर रहे हो, if you're committing this sin, stay in the country, face the trial. That you don't want to do because you have a lot of theory to share. Proclamations बड़े-बड़े हैं, but conviction zero है.
या इट इज डिस्गस्टिंग. चलो अभी ये सारे इशू पे तो बात कर लिया. ये क्या दिल्ली का व्हीकल बैन क्या है भाई, ये मेरे को समझाया. मतलब क्या सरकार को और कोई काम नहीं होता? तेरी गाड़ी चेक करेगी बैठ के, अभी पेट्रोल पंप में निकाल के लेके जाएगी. क्या कर रही है सरकार?
पता नहीं यार. 15 साल वाला बैन तो हमेशा से रहा है.
हाँ, तो मगर ये तरीका है क्या कोई काम करने का?
ये तरीका नहीं है. ये तरीका नहीं है. सी, the government says it's worried about emissions. मैं दिल्ली में हर रोज गाड़ी चलाता हूँ. मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ, दिल्ली में ना जो ट्रैफिक प्रॉब्लम है वो गाड़ियों से नहीं है. वो यहाँ पर पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट की इतनी लेयर्स है ना कि आपको सड़क पे प्राइवेट व्हीकल की जगह ही नहीं मिलती है. पहले आपकी मेट्रो है, ठीक है, वो है, बढ़िया है. फिर आपकी बड़ी बड़ी डीटीसी बस है, ऑटो हैं, बैटरी रिक्शा वाले हैं, कैब एग्रीगेटर्स हैं, बाइक वाले हैं, ये ब्लिंकिट, स्विगी, ओला वाले हैं, ये जो डिलीवरी करते हैं, टेम्पोस चलते हैं, ऑटोस चलते हैं कमर्शियल वाले, फिर बची कुची जगह कार्ट पुलर्स रखते हैं, who are not on batteries. So where is the place for private vehicles? Now the problem is the traffic snarls that are caused in Delhi are caused because of these huge buses and a lot of battery rickshaws. Either you get them off the road. Your problem in Delhi when it comes to vehicular emissions is not private vehicles. It's how you are managing your roads, what kind of traffic you're unleashing on those roads. अभी थैंकफुली इन्होंने बसें चेंज करी हैं और थोड़ी छोटी बसें इंट्रोड्यूस करी हैं, बट ये 15 साल वाला रूल एक और रीजन से बेकार है। मैं बताता हूँ क्यों। दिल्ली की पर कैपिटा जैसी है और दिल्ली में पार्किंग स्पेसेस का जो इशू है, लोगों के पास फालतू गाड़ी लेने का पैसा ही नहीं है। पैसा नहीं है, जगह नहीं है। पैसा तो बहुत है, जगह नहीं है, क्योंकि आप पार्क कहाँ करोगे? पार्किंग के यहाँ पर डंडे चल जाते हैं, सीधी सी बात है। अगर खुद से अपनी मर्जी से 15 साल में खुद ही गाड़ियां बेच रहे हैं, फेज आउट कर रहे हैं, तुम्हें क्यों बैड प्रेस इनवाइट करनी है? क्यों?
Forget everything. How many people have read the IIT Delhi report that has laid out what are the reasons for pollution in Delhi? I have shared that very report on this podcast. Like, if you really want to solve the pollution issues in Delhi, there is a detailed scientific report that has analyzed the reasons for pollution in Delhi. We just don't want to see. The problem in our country is we just go from one news cycle to the other news cycle, and actual policy discussions are never done. Like, you need to have a mature discussion landscape. We don't do that. We the political class, the bureaucratic class, the media, everyone in this country is just like manage कर लेते हैं.
नहीं, आप 15 साल पुरानी गाड़ियां निकाल दोगे, मैं कह रहा हूं चलो, प्रॉब्लम यहां गाड़ी की नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम यहां प्रिंसिपल की है। द स्टेट कैन नॉट गेट इट टू माई गैराज, इट्स दैट सिंपल। एंड मैं फिर बार बार, मैंने आज भी लिखा, रेखा गुप्ता माइट हैव हर हार्ट इन द राइट प्लेस, बट पीपल आर नॉट गोइंग टू कीप देयर कार्स फॉर 15 years। यहाँ पर जो मिडिल क्लास है, मिडिल क्लास से ऊपर के लेवल का होता है, वो 8-10 साल में वैसी गाड़ी बदल लेता है। जो लोअर मिडिल क्लास और उससे नीचे आता है, वो ऐसी जगह पे रहता है जहां वो गाड़ी ले ही नहीं पाता क्योंकि पार्किंग ही नहीं है। दैट इज दिल्ली फॉर यू, ठीक है? तो आपको क्यों पढ़ना है उस भसड़ में? आपको अगर कुछ करना है, आप सिंपल चीज करो। You reduce the traffic on the roads. You put a cap on how many battery rickshaws and DTC buses are going to be there. I'll tell you something, Kushal. These DTC buses cause huge traffic jams. अगर एक बस भी ब्रेक डाउन हो जाए, 2-4 किलोमीटर का जाम लगता है, ठीक है? और बसें खाली होती है क्योंकि मेट्रो है, ऑटो है, रिक्शा है, हर जगह पर लोगों के पास ऑप्शंस हैं। बट हमने बस बना रखा है कि घुसाओ, क्राउड करो रोड्स को, और व्हीकल्स फंसते हैं, एमिशंस बढ़ते हैं। उस चीज पे फोकस नहीं करें। आपके दिल्ली में इतने बंगलोज हैं, इतने फ्लोर्ड हाउसेस हैं, यू पुश पीएम सूर्यघर लाइक स्कीम्स, यू गो फॉर सोलर, कट डाउन द बर्डन ऑन द थर्मल प्लांट्स इफ यू आर सो वरीड अबाउट पोल्यूशन। पंजाब के किसानों का आप कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे, बट व्हाई डोंट यू इन्वेस्ट इन मोर ग्रीन कवर? देयर आर सो मेनी ओपन स्पेसेस इन दिल्ली, इन्वेस्ट इन प्लांटिंग मोर ट्रीज। Why don't you want to do the hard yards? Why won't you take a shortcut? Problem पता है क्या है? बहुत छोटी minority होगी. I'm telling you, less than probably 2% people will really be impacted by this car ban. But the bad press it will invite, because on principle it's a wrong thing to do. That the state now is getting into my garage, and this has happened. I remember it happened to Tehseen. I think one of his very old cars was parked in his garage. He wasn't even taking it out. Probably it had a lot of sentimental value for him. And one day the state comes in, this was before the elections, and just takes away that car. And he was livid. भाई वो कह रहा है मेरी गाड़ी है, मेरी पहली गाड़ी है, probably something I feel about the car, I want to keep it. Who the hell is the state? तुम्हें स्क्रैप करवानी है यार? आदमी उसकी मर्जी, वो गाड़ी दिल्ली के बाहर बेचते, वो किसी बिहार में किसी को बेचते, पास में उत्तर प्रदेश में किसी को बेचते, भाई 15 साल पुरानी गाड़ी है तो चला ले अपने गांव में, वो उसकी मर्जी है ना। स्टेट को इसमें क्यों घुसना है? एंड फॉर व्हाट? एक तो ना, आई मस्ट टेल, द मोदी गवर्नमेंट शुडंट फील प्रेशराइज्ड टू सॉर्ट ऑफ prove again and again that they really care about the environment. For all the work they have done in the last 10 years, they have proven enough that they actually are an environmental friendly government. You've built so many houses, you've introduced so many solar energy schemes, you've done that Ujala scheme early on in your tenure, you've gone for Ujjwala scheme in your tenure. so many subsidies for renewable energy, all that PLI for the entire EV ecosystem. और कितना करना है? नदियां आप साफ कर रहे हो, दिल्ली में आप यमुना साफ कर दो, कितना पोल्यूशन वैसे कम हो जाएगा. You have proper STPs in place, waste disposal management systems in place. Why do you want to invite the bad press? This is like the same paper straw syndrome कि मैं पेपर का स्ट्रॉ बेच के उसको प्लास्टिक की रैपिंग में बेचूंगा और मैं ऐसे एनवायरमेंटल क्राइसिस सॉल्व करूंगा. और ये पता है होता क्या है? Normally this ridiculous advice is not of the government. It comes from the bureaucrats. Bureaucrats who are then advised by NGOs and think tanks. मिनिस्टर्स ऐसे नहीं सोचते. पॉलिटिशियंस कभी नहीं सोचेगा कि मुझे किसी से किसी का गाड़ी छीनना है. पॉइंट नहीं है इस चीज का. बट देन द काइंड ऑफ ब्यूरोक्रेट्स दैट एडवाइज देम, और आजकल सबको ये चड़क है ग्रीन ग्रीन ग्रीन. ऐसे नहीं चलता. आपने दिल्ली में एक अच्छा लॉ पता है क्या है कुशल? Where I live, and you've also been in one of those areas. Now, any new construction needs to have the ground floor dedicated to a parking lot. आप ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे वो नहीं बना सकते रेजिडेंशियल, आपको उसके ऊपर बनाना पड़ेगा, चाहे वो अपर ग्राउंड फ्लोर. इट्स गुड, यू आर टेकिंग आउट सॉल्यूशंस, बट डोंट गेट इनटू पीपल्स गैराज एंड दैट टू अ माइनॉरिटी. डोंट डू दैट. और टू व्हीलर्स की पोल्यूशन अगर आपको इतनी चिंतित कर रही है कि हरे टू व्हीलर्स पे हमें जाना है, गाड़ियों की बात नहीं, टू व्हीलर्स की बात है भाई. अगेन इट्स द पेपर स्ट्रॉ सिंड्रोम. Fix the farmers in Punjab first. Invest in more green cover. Plant as many trees as you can. इतना demolition हो रहा है, इतना illegally occupied land reclaim हो रहा है गवर्नमेंट के बाद. Build some green spaces. Release more, oxygen into the air. It's that simple.
नहीं, वो थोड़ा हार्ड है. उसमें अच्छी न्यूज नहीं आती, उसमें मीडिया मैनेज नहीं होती.
उसमें बोरिंग काम है ना.
वो बोरिंग काम है. और टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टूपिडिटी ऑफ ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, let's talk about the bizarre news that I woke up to. I get up today morning and I get the news that some Pakistani YouTube channels suddenly, of some cricketers and some others, are suddenly unbanned. By the way, now I'm going to try to explain this for people who don't understand how things work in India. This is a classic. क्या मतलब बाल नोच लूं, क्या करूं, मुझे मालूम नहीं है. The left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. So क्या होता है ना, ये जब ये बैन हुए थे ना, ये दो अलग डिपार्टमेंट बैन करते हैं. ठीक है, एक तुम्हारी MIB कर रही है और एक माइटी कर रही है. ठीक है, तो माइटी अपनी लिस्ट बनाती थी और उन्होंने अपने बैन कराए, और MIB अपनी लिस्ट बनाती है, MIB ने अपने बैन कराए. ठीक है, क्योंकि अलग अलग जॉनरास में अलग अलग चैनल्स आते हैं. ठीक है, समझ ले कोई एंटरटेनमेंट मिनिस्ट्री से रिलेटेड होगा, वो अलग में आएगा, कोई अलग आएगा, ऐसे होता है. न्यूज वाले अलग. तो जी हुआ ये है कि जो MIB ने कराए हैं वो कोई अनबैन नहीं हुए. जो माइटी ने कराए हैं, all those channels have been unbanned. Now, the most likely and very curiously, the Honorable Prime Minister of India goes on a overseas tour to work. And the day the Honorable Prime Minister goes on an overseas tour, this happens. This has to be, these questions need to be asked. Why PMO officials leave? Because see, when the Prime Minister goes, a giant chunk of the PMO machinery goes with him, right? That's protocol. And boom, this happens. Who are these babus who did this in Mighty? Now, my sources, I've been trying to dig up. My sources tell me that Bollywood was very unhappy that Pakistani channels were banned. Entertainment and some of these Pakistanis were banned. And the pressure was from those Bollywoodias to a certain class of babus in Mighty. And this has happened most likely because of that. It leads to the bigger question that ये लोग किसकी साइड पे हैं?
See, I will tell you why your theory makes a lot of sense. Bollywood and Pakistan have always had this very mutually assured, rewarding relationship. Because for Bollywood, Pakistan has been a market of 200 million people always. And it's a market that understands Hindi well. Their market is for them is bigger in Pakistan than perhaps say in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or Telangana or Andhra Pradesh. It's that simple. Today, Pakistanis were really getting impacted. You look at Shoaib Akhtar's channel. I put up a screenshot of his channel. जब तक इंडियंस देख रहे थे हर वीडियो पे 1.25 मिलियन व्यूज 1.5 मिलियन व्यूज 2.5 मिलियन व्यूज इंडियंस stopped watching it. The channel was banned. 40,000, 50,000. Now, if someone is relying on monetization through their Instagram or YouTube, India's ban means a death knell for them. And this is where the government has to understand. You know what amazes me is in India, governments are very picky about who they are going to allow their market access. मतलब फिजिकल मार्केट एक्सेस की बात आती है स्टारलिंक को देखो एक एज एन एग्जांपल कितने लाइसेंसेस कितने लूप्स कितना ब्यूरोक्रेटिक लेयर्स क्रॉस करना होता है बट डिजिटल मार्केट एक्सेस की वैल्यू अभी भी नहीं समझ आ रही है Indian governments across states in the center, they really need to wake up and realize how big, how important our digital market access is. We can literally dismantle a nation's and enemy nation's entire digital economy. Why aren't we doing it? It's not like Instagram or Twitter or Google or Facebook, they won't cooperate. They will. They have to work with the governments. But then, where is that intent from our side? And this is something that the bureaucrats need to understand. If they don't understand, the ministers need to get, they need to make it their primary issue. My sincere request to Ashwani Vaishnav is this, that, for all the hard work you're doing, say with railways, for instance, it's for the betterment of the country. Even this, you phase out Pakistan entirely from India's digital landscape, you'll be doing India a great favor. Because you will be also sort of displacing this entire rotten Pakistani lobby and letting more Indians emerge.
3-4 things. I just don't understand how the minister does not know what the Babus are doing under him. That is point number one. Point number two. We are told by the government, by the Honorable Defense Minister, by the Honorable Home Minister, by the Honorable Prime Minister, and the Honorable Foreign Minister, Minister of External Affairs, that Operation Sindoor has been halted, not stopped. Right? If Operation Sindoor has been halted, not stopped, and one of the major strategies of Operation Sindoor was drying up the revenue stream of all Pakistanis. What is India trying to indicate? This is the point number two that needs to be asked. If a Babu has done this, which I know 99.9% is the most likely scenario, because this country is like this. There are bureaucrats who do these things, and they do it purposely to embarrass this government when the government is on a foreign tour, and these things are done. I know people think these things don't happen, but for some of us who've had, the experience of talking to people because of the kind of job we do of social commentary, journalism, political analysis, so we have to talk to these people, and we know that these things are real. These things happen. What kind of incentivization are we creating? What kind of message are we sending? And who are these people inside? At the end of the day, the government is one entity. The BJP is a political party, right? It harms the BJP politically. So why is the Bharatiya Janata Party so silly that it will fall for something as ridiculous as this? And why is now most likely all these people will be banned again. I know they will be banned again. They will be banned again. That's not the issue. The issue is, why did we have this embarrassing moment? These are real questions that need to be asked, and they are never asked. And every time, people like us who try to be balanced and nuanced, there is obviously a lot on Twitter that finds flaws in everything the BJP does. And there is a lot on Twitter that sees 56 inches and master strokes in everything the BJP does. And then there are people like us who try to, find out the truth and give a rational answer. This is just ridiculous. How can you let a babu do something like this? And the next news I wanted to talk about is, now, again, what was done? Cricket was a major sore spot, and we said we're not going to play, period, right? And now the news is, I don't know. I mean, this guy is a very famous cricket handle, like Crick Jones. He's saying India versus Pakistan on September 7th in Dubai. Asia Cup 2025 is likely to start on September 4th or 5th. Final on September 21st, according to Sports Tak. Sports Tak is Aaj Tak. This is
Hmm.
not. Why is this happening? Why are we playing Pakistan? Has Pahalgam been forgotten? What are we doing? Why are we so obsessed with playing cricket with Pakistan? Why is this country the way it is?
My only wish from the BCCI has been since Pulwama, since 2019, flush out Pakistan from the ICC altogether and flush out every single individual from the IPL in any capacity, from support staff to the player, from broadcaster to any analyzing, team member who participates in the PSL. People need to understand today, if you hammer Pakistan on two fronts, one is the digital entertainment and two cricket, you'll isolate them in a big, big way. You tell the West Indians they pay PSL, they can never play IPL, they'll stop going to Pakistan. You tell the Australians the same. You tell the South Africans the same. The only teams that will probably risk visiting Pakistan would probably be some players from Bangladesh. Probably no one from Afghanistan either, because they have actually, some of their players have actually excelled in the IPL. Sri Lanka will also not risk it. One, Sri Lanka is not coming up with great players to play the IPL, but a limited number of them, they'll also not do a Pakistan. So why aren't we doing that? And we can. This is not about some sort of a bureaucratic problem with the ICC or the BCCI or the ACC. ACC right now has a Pakistani president, the Asian Cricket Council, as it's called. But BCCI actually has the money. We are the money. We are ICC. Pseudo ICC, BCCI ही है. It's a public secret. And India versus Pakistan is not that big a commercial entertainer anymore. In fact, you'll get more eyeballs during an India Australia game or an India New Zealand game, given how these rivalries have evolved over the last few years.
Exactly. And we
Probably in
have to
the
invest in other rivalries now. Why are we obsessed with the
yeah,
India Pakistan rivalry? It's
yeah,
always going for the
absolutely.
easy option. It's always that.
Hmm. And Pakistan is a laughing stock, honestly, as a nation. You don't really want to compete with them. You don't want to engage with them. But वही चीज है ना. मैं कह रहा हूँ चलो there are monetary interests. Let's assume on the face value there are monetary interests. It can't be bigger than the nation. It can't be. You think, okay, oh, you'll have 200 million people not watching an ICC tournament. That's fine. You might get 200 million more people in India watching that game. Why don't you invest in European nations? A lot of them do have that intent for cricket, and a lot of them will give you at least good T20 players to begin with. Why not? T20 is anyway the future. I mean, like it or not.
See, when moments like these happen, again, I'm telling you, they will be banned again. Eventually, yahi hoga. But moments like these create disincentives for people who care for the country and who work for the country. Like, I want to share a story with everyone. I shared it yesterday. I knew about it, but I was glad that it came in the news again. So this is the
Hmm.
story of Raindra Koshik, the Indian spy who became a major in the Pakistan army and was named the Black Tiger by Indira Gandhi. All right. Now, Raw ko pata chala, he was a great artist. He was recruited at the age of 23, became Nabi Ahmad Shakir, joined colleges in Karachi, married a local woman named Amanat and became a father. Between 79 and 83, he sent classified military information to Indian agencies. that was basically that led to the cross border incidents and reduction and kitni jaane bachi. He was obviously caught in 1983. Inyat Masiha, raw contact sent to re-establish communication with him, was caught, and basically that contact revealed his identity. He was tortured for 2 years in interrogation in Sialkot and spent 16 years in Mianwali jail. He died in 2001 from tuberculosis in Multan jail. My question is, why did this man, Raindra Koshik, this great man, why did he give his life up for his country? Can you tell me what is the incentive when some jackass bureaucrat inside Mighty will do whatever they want to do? Why would the Ravinder Kaushiks of this world, did they get into this job knowing that if they are caught, they will never be accepted by the government? Why should these people, whether it's, Hamari domestic security apparatus, IB, whether it's, RAW, whether it's military intelligence, whether it's the armed forces, whether it's the Navy, whether it's the air forces, anyone, whether it's a cop, paramilitary, why would these people waste their life on such thankless people? क्यों करेगा कोई? क्या इंसेंटिव है? थू है ना हमारे ऊपर, हम लोग ऐसे काम करते हैं और ये जान अपनी देनी क्यों काम? गिव मी वन गुड रीजन व्हाई आई शुड वर्क फॉर दिस कंट्री. Why? One good reason. When this is what I get in return, give me one good reason. That is my question to all these bureaucrats who have cushy jobs and who do these things. One good reason why we should work for this country. We still do, because we are the morons. Every decent citizen of this country does, because we are the morons. Who are these people? And everything goes on the Prime Minister. If this is the job of the minister to control his bureaucrats, what is the minister doing? What? और फिर आ जाएंगे, मोदी को कुछ नहीं आता, इसको कुछ नहीं आता. अरे भाई, यही कांग्रेस के प्लांट हैं सिस्टम के, जो मोदी को इतना समय लग रहा है निकालने को.
I think the only thing I can take hope from is the accounts will be banned. I think there will be a lot of noise, they will be banned. But again, there needs to be, what happened right after Galwan? People would remember we had a new rule where the investments from any countries would have shared a land border with India. They were scrutinized first by the center. We need the same law. Any prominent social media account or channel that has access in India, that needs to be vetted by the PMO. By the PMO. I don't trust any other ministry. I trust the PMO, probably the Home Ministry. Second to that, they need to vet it before it's allowed access into India. It's that simple. We need a new law like that. And probably this communication will keep on going from a lot of well-intended social media users towards these bureaucrats. But I think it's probably, I shouldn't say this. Maybe it's time for the Prime Minister to include Mighty in his portfolio, for all we know. Yeah, so that's about it.
It is, and see, some of us know what has happened. That's the tragedy.
Yeah.
और गाली प्रधानमंत्री खाते हैं जिनका कोई लेना देना नहीं है इससे. गाली पीएमओ खाता है, कोई लेना देना नहीं है. हमको मालूम है एचएमओ पीएमओ का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. गाली वो खाते हैं, काम कोई और करके जाते हैं. और एन प्रधानमंत्री देश से निकले और बूम, काम हो गया. ये हमारा देश है. और यार, इतना बड़ा देश है, थोड़े ना माइक्रो मैनेज करेगा मोदी बैठ के. यार, कुछ तो शर्म होनी चाहिए बाबूडम में. जिन लोगों की पैंट उतार के उनकी लुली चेक करके उनको मारा गया, उनके परिवारों को जाके पूछो पाकिस्तान के यूट्यूब बैन होने चाहिए कि नहीं होने चाहिए. उनको तो पूछ लो, उनसे तो पूछते नहीं. ये हाल है. क्या बोले यार, क्या बोले, इट्स जस्ट इट्स इनसेन। और मुझे मालूम है ये सब बैन होंगे वापस, सब होंगे, मगर एम्बैरेसमेंट के बाद बस यही करते रहो, एम्बैरेसमेंट करते रहो, सीरियसली। एंड ऑनेस्टली यार, मैं तेरे से एग्री नहीं करता कि हर चीज पीएमओ के अंडर आ जाओ यार। ये इनको पब्लिक यार, एक 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 दो बाबुओं को निकालो बाहर हिमाकत के लिए, अपने आप लाइन पे आ जाएंगे। एक दो बाबुओं को निकालो, जिसने ये किया है ना वो बाबू को निकाल दो। जिसने ये बाबू ने किया है सबको मालूम है वो कौन है। इवेंचुअली 48 घंटे में सबको नाम मालूम होगा, सबको, उसको निकालो। क्या लोग हैं यार। चलो क्वेश्चंस ले लेते हैं, एंड देन ऑल मेजर पाकिस्तानी यूट्यूब चैनल्स, ये तो हमने कर दिया है अभी। द करंट गवर्नमेंट पास द ग्रेटर बेंगलुरु बिल व्हिच टेक्स अवे मेयर म्युनिसिपल पावर्स. Why are political parties so hell bent on finishing urban municipal governments? What is the way forward? Way forward, I'll give you my answer and then Tushar can give his answer. Is that we have to create more awareness about this issue. The average person's awareness about decentralization of power in India is abysmally poor. Swaroop Koshik is my answer. Now I'll give it to Tushar.
I think state government wants to sort of put forward this development picture about Bengaluru. They're planning some tunnel, which has been infamously criticized by a lot of locals. So probably a step in that direction. They want to be seen doing something. That's about it. And that is why they want to take more control. It's that simple, but doesn't really work the way decentralization is imagined.
देखते हैं. Kushal, regular viewer here, just launched India's own AI personal tutor, Edza AI, same as your fave, 1:1 personal tutors you can use. भाई देखो, मैंने तो नहीं है, ये सुपर चैट है, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ. You can use my referral ASRVF157. जिसको करना है भाई कर लेना. Good for you. Congratulations, Shivangi. I don't think you can ban, because the IPL is not 6 months league, and difference median salary between IPL and leagues like SA20 is not that drastic. Only way to do is average player salary and long IPL. Okay, this is to
Hoga,
your
long
answer.
IPL, we'll get there. We'll get there. We are at 10 teams right now. I think by 2029, BCCI should start imagining in the 2030s. There's no way your IPL can't be at least 16 teams. There is no way. I mean, there is so much talent in India. There's so much talent globally. There are so many budding cricketers in Europe right now looking at the Indian cricketing scene, thinking that why not? And IPL is all about talent. It's about global talent. We are still in the very, very early years of IPL. Even at 18 years, we are very, very early years. And in the 2030s, 40s, I think we should imagine it to be a 6-month long tournament. Yes, why not?
I think the Indian government may not give BCCI approval to play Asia Cup. They haven't even been given clearance to play Bangladesh.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
ये मोस्ट लाइकली यही होने वाला है. ये साले है ना, ये मीडिया वाले बहुत गांडूगिरी करते हैं. मतलब ये है ना, मेरे को लगता है किसी ने छोड़ा होगा, क्या मूड है पब्लिक का, कितनी गाली पड़ रही है, अच्छा नहीं खेलते. ये मैं तेरे को बोल रहा हूँ, ये ऐसे ही सोचते हैं, ये ऐसे ही सोचते हैं. IPL Division 1 and Division 2, what do you think?
I don't know what he means here, but if you're looking at 16 teams, you'll obviously have groups, and I mean there are a lot of formats that can be thought of. So वो तो बात की चीज है. I mean it's a longer debate for another day.
एक नम ये मतलब मेरे हिसाब से तो I don't like the idea of Division 1, Division 2. I believe IPL should increase the number of teams to, I think, eventually 16. The cap of overseas player can be increased to 5.
Yeah.
Because उतने हमारे domestic player नहीं हो पाएंगे. 5 overseas player, and IPL को 3-3.5 महीने का कर दो, और PKM के भी.
I don't know how football works. I don't watch football at all. But ये जो Champions League होती है, इसमें every team plays against the other team, right?
मुझे आइडिया नहीं, मैं तो झूठ नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं नहीं फॉलो करता.
अच्छा, मैं भी फुटबॉल नहीं देखता, तो
मेरे को क्रिकेट की जानकारी है. और क्रिकेट पे बात करनी यार, तूने टीम देखी क्या सेकंड टेस्ट में, किया क्या है, क्या टीम सिलेक्ट की है?
I was very sad. Yashasvi Jaiswal got out. He deserved that ton. Third time he's
Yeah.
got out recently in the 80s. अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एक मैच में दोनों टाइम 80s पे आउट हो गया था. But one thing, I am very impressed by Gill at number 4. He is at least holding the crease, which is what I was hoping for Virat and Rohit to do. Baki Karun Nair, I don't know. I would have picked Sai Sudarshan over Karun Nair. I don't know this idea of Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja both in the team. Probably they wanted to give their batting a lot of depth. I'm not very confident about the pace attack until it really bowls. And it's like bright, sunny conditions in England right now. It almost looks like playing in Australia. Itna bright hai. तो पता नहीं यार it's but again Kushal we are looking at a very abrupt transition within the Indian test team तो अभी क्या हो रहा है कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा सब improvisation ही चल रहा है but I would have wanted Sai Sudarshan in my team for sure.
Oh, I mean, Prasidh Krishna, after going at 6 runs and over in the last test match, gets another test match is ridiculous. Okay, I understand they don't want to play Bumrah in every match. I understand that.
And one thing, I really have started respecting Mitchell Stark a lot. That man plays the IPL. That man plays every test that he's wanted to play. उसका कोई लोचा नहीं है body का. And he's a very tall man. A tall man is more prone to spine problems in this kind of a setup. I must sort of say I really respect the man right now just for his fitness and then his talent.
We need to clear out dynasties in judiciary and executive. If you are employed by Government of India, your descendants come under 100% tax if they go abroad.
Someday we'll have to discuss this also कि भाई इसमें फिर रिजर्वेशन का भी एंगल आएगा बहुत मेसी है ये
बहुत मेसी है नहीं होने वाला. I think while just one Babu got caught unbanning Pakistanis, other Babus are just playing a longer game to the same destination. Babu Darwinism. भाई क्या
that could be a good title for a book, Babu Darwinism.
Seriously क्या बोले. If the BCCI participates in the Asia Cup, we should ask IPL not to be tax free because why should we let BCCI make money and we pay a lot of taxes? Basically,
ये भसड़ में मत पड़ो बड़ा सोचो अपन को पाकिस्तान आईसीसी में नहीं चाहिए खत्म ये मत में पढ़ो कि बीसीसीआई से टैक्स देना ये करना these are small ambitions I'm saying go for the big ambition we isolate Pakistan when it comes to cricket completely beat their shitty PSL beat their international presence finished they do not play test with any other country they do not participate in any ICC tournament none of the international marquee players go to Pakistan to play PSL game over I want nothing but isolation for them and eventually they slow down these are bloody bankrupt nation.
करो सुपरस्टार रिटायर ब्रॉडकास्टर इन रिटर्न पाकिस्तान मैच 4 कर दिया वर्स्ट सिलेक्शन ऑल एक्सपर्ट्स क्रिटिसाइज गौतम गंभीर
अरे खड़ जा भाई खड़ जा
मतलब सारों को गाली दे दी एक सुपर जेड सबको गाली दे दी सबके सब यूजलेस है ये वो एंटी गवर्नमेंट ये बिक गई है गवर्नमेंट.
One thing I think we all can agree, probably England is also going through a transition right now. But the first test match, it was a defeat, but it wasn't a loss of face, as we may put it. It was a respectable defeat. The other side played much better cricket. We were not great in our bowling. Our lower order was collapsing. So, fine. Probably which also dictated the selection right now, both Sundar and Jadeja, because of 2 lower order collapses in the last match.
Chalo, I think we've answered all the questions, but once again, I want to leave all of you with this question again. I'm going to share it in the whole screen now. You know, if this is the future of this country where, you know, people like Raindra Koshik give up their life to protect this country, and then some Babu and some minister who cannot control that Babu unbans Pakistanis. Tell me, did Raindra Koshik give his life up for something worthwhile? I genuinely want to ask this question. I want to repeat, if you are working in the army, navy, air force, military intelligence, raw, IB, paramilitary, rapid action force, Is it even worth it? Fighting for what? So that some bikau piece of shit can sell the country off? Ask yourself this question, everyone. And to the Bollywoodias trying to pressure the government of India for their petty interests. Shame on you. Shame on you. You might have some connections with babus, but हम भी कुछ नहीं है यार, हमारे भी कनेक्शन है. ये खेल खेलते रहेंगे. Anyways, go follow Tushar on X, subscribe to the Atom channel, and if you want to support this podcast, please consider joining the membership program of the Cārvāka podcast, whether on YouTube or on Patreon. If you want to send your one-time donations, UPI is kushalmehra at ICICI. Interac Canada ID is kushalmehra81@gmail.com. I will try to raise this all over again. I can't believe that after 2 months I have to freaking do this all over again. I will do it. We will do it. But I think your ire has to be towards mighty, ladies and gentlemen. Tag the mighty minister. Tag the mighty Twitter handle. Don't abuse. Ask them what I have asked today. All these different departments who give their lives up, who take risks so that we sleep peacefully. Should they do it if you love Pakistan so much? Ask them this question. Ask each and every one of them this question who decided to unban Pakistani YouTube channels. Ask them this question. Tag me if you want to when you tag them. But don't abuse them. Ask them this very important question. Is it worth giving your life up for India? Ask them this question. Take care. Bye-bye.